You see that? If you've ever wondered whether you should get your instrument rating up there, that's Mount Wellington. It's about 3,500 feet, just ready to catch pilots who unsuspectingly fly through the clouds and just been spending the weekend down here in Hobart in the south side of Tasmania. It's a great town to come and visit. Great coffee shops, great restaurants, good pubs, really good like breweries, distilleries. But unfortunately I do have to leave today. I've just been doing my flight planning down here by the port in Hobart. Looking at the weather, it's actually quite good today. We've got some cloud that we should be flying through. There's some cumulus cloud, bit of stratus low down. That should be all right. Just got to keep an eye on some of those build-ups though. Make sure as the heat comes in the afternoon that they don't get too puffy, too cloudy, too turbulent, too thunderstormy. You know, all that fun stuff that you want to avoid. But before I do that, we have to pick up the hire car. And most importantly, I have to find my wife. Oh, she's flying to Melbourne as well today, but yeah, not with me. She's not flying in Kilo Juliet November. She's going Qantas. I'm going KJN. Regular viewers will know why. Jackie's just dropped me off. I'm just loading Kilo Juliet November with all the wine that we bought, the wine that we bought. I think I have to adjust the weight and balance once again. That's a lot of wine.
Kilo Juliet November, Grant.
Kilo Juliet November, go ahead.
Kilo Juliet November, due to inbound jet traffic, the amended clearance out of Cambridge, tracking out on the amended 300 bearing from Tasm to Clark, climb initially 7,000, squawk 4333.
Cleared on the 300 Tasm to Clark, climb 7,000, 4333, Kilo Juliet November.
Kilo Juliet November, the time check 07.5, are you taxiing now?
Negative, run-ups, taxiing in about 3 minutes, Kilo Juliet November.
Kilo Juliet November, and I'll get omitted clearance for you once you're airborne.
Copy, and do I need taxi clearance on this frequency before I move to 30?
1181, please.
1181, Kilo Juliet November, thanks. Pull free and correct flight controls. Takeoff, done. Trim, set, autopilot disconnect, done. Hobart Tower, Kilo Juliet November on the ground at Cambridge, received Quebec, taxiing runway 30, departure via Clark.
Kilo Juliet November, Hobart Tower, there's no traffic, Cambridge, report ready.
Kilo Juliet November. Kilo Juliet November is ready, runway 30.
Kilo Juliet November, climb straight ahead.
Climb straight ahead, Kilo Juliet November. Alright, entering the runway. No one on final. Alright, full power. Static RPM is good. Airspeed's increasing on both. Everything's in the green. 60 knots. 70 knots.
Point on step through 3,000 inbound from Cambridge. We have one POD instead of Quebec, that's right.
Jetstar 721 passing 9,000 on descent.
Jetstar 721, thanks. Report leaving 6,000.
We're leaving 6,000.
Caps is available. Flaps away. Fuel pump stays on. Passing 2,100, 7,000. We'll get a few bits of turbulence coming over the hills here. What a strong wind, 56 knots from our left at the moment. Kilo Juliet November, radio check.
Kilo Juliet November, reading 50, QNH now 1010.
1010, Kilo Juliet November, thanks. It's dead quiet on the radio today, that's why I just asked for that radio check. I wanted to make sure that we were actually still within coverage and everything was fine. It was, as it happens. But sometimes on these longer legs, especially across parts of Australia, I know when I watch my friends flying in the UK and in the US, it seems like there's air traffic control all the time. I think your airspace is a lot busier than ours, but I'm just sharing this airspace.
Station's Wynyard amended parachute.
That's no relevance to us. Wynyard's over, a long way over in that direction. Yeah, I'm sharing this airspace with a Jetstar aircraft. There's a Qantas aircraft which is coming out of Hobart, but not for another hour and a half. And that's a very special one because that's carrying Jackie all the way back from Hobart to Melbourne. So I reckon we'll be landing...
Kilo Juliet November, move left, controlled airspace, control services are terminated. Contact me now 126.5.
Control service terminated 1265, Kilo Juliet November. 1265. Moorabbin Centre, Kilo Juliet November, maintaining 10,000.
Kilo Juliet November, well set up.
Alright, so now we're out of controlled airspace. So I don't need to request if I want to make track changes or altitude changes. However, I need to tell air traffic control what I'm doing and just find out if there's any other traffic. What was I saying? Yeah, so Jackie's flying from Hobart to Melbourne. I'm flying from Hobart to Melbourne, albeit lower and slower. But she's going to land probably the same time as me. Then I'm going to pick up our car, which is at the airport, drive up to Tullamarine and pick her up and bring her home. Why is Jackie not sitting here? You may ask. Well, first of all, the seat was already booked. Milkshake reserves her seats a long way in advance. In all seriousness, Jack had already organised the flight down to Hobart with a friend of hers, and I kind of gate crashed the weekend and flew down in KJN myself just for a bit of practice and just for a bit of fun to fly down somewhere new. But it does raise the question of, will Jackie ever fly in a small aircraft with me? And I think, and hopefully she's not watching this, but I think we're getting close, because she has started saying, oh, okay, well, you know, if you're going to do longer trips and you are flying a lot more, maybe I'll think about coming on a flight with you. So, here's my plan. I want to find a really, really calm day, probably a day like this. This is beautiful today. I want to do a short flight, because if she's not enjoying herself and she wants to, you know, get down on the ground, totally understand. I want to be able to get down on the ground quickly. And number three, I want to give her something to look at outside of the plane. So my plan is the Melbourne City Orbits, which is like a 20-minute flight. Take off from Moorabbin, 1,500 feet. You go to Albert Park, which is where they hold the Formula One Grand Prix. I'll link to it above. There's a video that I've done before on the City Orbits. Because here's the thing, I'm not making light of this. It's a big deal for non-aviators to fly in small aircraft. But it's also a big deal if you're just getting into aviation, for that feeling of, well, there's a feeling of fear and there's an anxiety when you're getting in a small aircraft for the first time. If you're starting out with your flying, or if you're a passenger, or if you're low hours, or whatever your reasons for feeling nervous about getting in an aircraft, don't worry and don't beat yourself up about it either. It's very, very natural. Quick story, I remember in my flight training, I think the second or third lesson you do is climbing and descending. And with the instructor sitting next to me, we climbed up, and I remember seeing the horizon going below the nose, and I couldn't see the ground anymore. And that freaked me out like nobody's business. And then the instructor kind of put the nose down. I thought, okay, cool, I need to get used to this. And he said, all right, you'll go. And I remember thinking, okay, well, he says, raise the nose, raise the nose. So I raised the nose, probably about 2 degrees. And he's like, you're not going to climb like that, raise the nose, raise the nose. So raising it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, pulling back, straining like that, really not enjoying it, climbing, almost not wanting to look out the front. Then we descended, then I did it again, then we descended. And I remember getting down and thinking, I can't do this, I can't be a pilot. And whenever I've told that story to someone in the past who is in aviation, or maybe a nervous flyer as well, I reckon 90% of the time they'll say back to me, oh, I had a similar experience. So if you're listening out there, and if you're a pilot, and if you're a bit nervous, or if you're a passenger and you're not sure about small planes, whatever it is, forget the ego, forget being a hero. I still get a little bit nervous in planes nowadays with the flying that I do sometimes if I'm going into like bad weather, if I've got build-ups ahead of me and I'm not sure what to do. I just want you to know you are not alone. It still happens even when you're an experienced pilot. I don't consider myself a highly experienced pilot. I'm probably somewhere in the middle of all the pilots in the world out there. But I still get nervous sometimes when I'm flying, if I'm flying into bad weather, or if I'm doing somewhere new, if I'm flying somewhere new, or flying over water like we're about to, going out to the Bass Strait. There's still that element of, you know, slightly heightened nervousness.
Track direct Anagi planned route.
All I'm saying basically is, don't worry if you feel like that. You're not on your own. I still feel like that. I know passengers who feel like that. Other pilots definitely feel like that. Anyone who says that they can get in an aeroplane every time and they're just completely confident and blasé and they don't care and they're like, you know, hero pilot, my advice to you, if you ever meet someone like that, don't fly with them. Alright, and talking of Bass Strait, where are we up to at the moment? We've got the northern coast of Tasmania just ahead of us. We've got 32 minutes until we get to Flinders Island, so a short hop over the Bass Strait first of all, and then we're going to take a left and do our long leg, our 77-mile leg from Flinders Island across to the mainland of Australia. And unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have a headwind for the whole way there.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors.
Got Flinders Island ahead of us now, so we've crossed over that first part of the Bass Strait. That's the shorter part. Now this is where I've been waiting to do my fuel tank change. I've been running on the left a bit longer than normal, so I've got 34 gallons on the left, 39 on the right. So there's a bit of an imbalance there, but I've been doing that on purpose. Fuel pump goes on to cross to the right tank and checking the fuel flow. Everything is good, that's good. Then switch off the fuel pump. Once again, check the fuel flow is good. And now we're on the right tank. So now I've basically got an extra 7 gallons on the right hand tank. We're burning 12 gallons an hour. So basically, you can do 7, 12, so you would say roughly 3/4 of an hour, 45 minutes, we're going to have the tanks at the same level. And then I can continue to burn off the fuel in the right tank as Kilo Juliet November turns us around to the left. But yeah, coming down we had a lot of low stratus clouds, so you couldn't really see the ocean, which, as I said in the video before, is actually quite a good thing. But now we can see the vast ocean below us. I can see the 38-knot headwind that we're about to turn into. But everything's set up on the aircraft. It literally now is just a case of sit back and monitor the engine, the navigation. Ooh, and have a snack. Knows how much I like baked goods. I think this is actually for her and the chocolate croissant is for me. But you know, she's not here, so...
Melbourne information, romance car.
Now that fuel tank change has worked out perfectly because I've got the fuel tanks basically dead even. They're both on, I've got 33.1 and 33.0 at the moment on the tanks, and you can probably see from the outboard camera there, I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up, but land ahoy, we've got Wilson's Promontory as it's called. Up ahead, that's the main landfall for mainland Australia. Not gliding distance though, it's still, especially with this headwind, there's no way that I could glide to land over there. So what I would do is instead, is with this headwind, is the group of islands that we passed, I would basically turn around and glide towards those. Even though there's no one who lives on those islands, I don't believe. Very little civilization, and it's incredibly hilly. So it's not going to be a soft touchdown, you know, because of the hills and ridges. It'd be hard to actually plop it down on somewhere flat. However, there's no way I can make the land up there, so it's better for me to try and get closer to land. You've got Deal Island, Dover Island, Erith Island, all as one group together. And then just over to the right there is Hogan Island, which not many people know, it was the birthplace of Hulk Hogan.
Aircraft converging from your left, about 3.5 miles in your 10 o'clock with no level readout. Intentions unknown.
Looking for traffic, Kilo Juliet November.
Kilo Juliet November, you're beam that traffic now in altitude unknown, range 2 miles. Kilo Juliet November, the next one is now in your 1 o'clock, maybe 12:30, 2 miles. Tracking southbound, very slow, no altitude. Kilo Juliet November, the one that I said wasn't squawking, now showing 4,200 feet unverified. You pass underneath shortly if that's the true altitude.
Oh man, it's always busy coming in here. You have the whole place to yourself over Bass Strait.
Kilo Juliet November, traffic at just south of Moorabbin Airport with a helicopter. They're tracking to directly overhead the field at 700 feet.
Copy that, Kilo Juliet November, and we're downwind for 17 right.
Kilo Juliet November, clear to land.
Clear land, Kilo Juliet November. What a good fun flight, I really enjoyed that. Thank you for following along. If this is one of the first videos that you've watched, or if you're new to the channel, please do click on that subscribe button. It's great to see the channel growing so much. If you enjoyed that content, you want to see more flights like this, give us a like as well. I really hate doing all that stuff at the end of the video, but you know, it's YouTube. Anyway, like and subscribe.